Marcoleta, abogado ng Diskaya.
Why did you choose, for example, Bryce over to this guy?
My opinion. You cannot question my opinion. Outside of this hall, you cannot question my opinion. You also question.
I am questioning your opinion because you are the chairman of this committee, Mr. Chair.
Why are you
Then
so
you should not
protective
judge.
to this guy? Why are you so protective?
I am not protecting them. Mabuti sinabi mo yan, Mr. Chair.
Protesta sa Luneta, Mendiola at EDSA. Mga senador, dawit sa anomalya.
I delivered 20% of approximately 800 million or about 160 million to Maynard Ngu, which was meant for Senator Escudero. I told him that Senator Revilla will appreciate additional contributions for his senatorial re-election bid. Engineer Alcantara collected the 25% commitment or about 125 million, which was turned over to me and then delivered to Senator Revilla in his house in Cavite. Engineer Alcantara collected 15% commitment or about 37 million, which was turned over to me and which I then delivered to Senator Binay at a house in Quezon City.
Kumusta? I'm Ulysses Orevor Joseph and welcome to News and Worthy Recap Weekly Edition number 122. We have touched over since last week, so skip to the chances provided if it piques your interest. Mga senador at kongresista, hinulog ni Bryce at Henry.
Siguro kung yung Napoles cases nauwi dun sa halip na absuelto kulong, baka hindi na nangyari itong mas malaking kurakot. Plunder yung mga kaso nun nakakulong na nga pero na-absuelto, na-release ng korte, pinakawalan ng ating hudikatura. So, ang dulo nito lahat naman, hudikatura So, kung maaari, maging sinyales din sa hudikatura ng taong bayan pag nakitang mabagal ang hudikatura, baka pati sila irali ng ating mga kababayan.
Well said, Senator Pangilinan.
Will we never, ever really learn? Nagtampo si Jingo Estrada kay Kiko nung sinabi niya yan, na parang si Sharon kung suyuin ni Kiko. Bakit akong napapatamaan dito?
I cannot, in good conscience, let the remarks made earlier by our colleague, Senator Francis Pangilinan, during the Blue Ribbon Committee pass without rebuttal. Sa huli, napatunayan na walang sapat na batayan ang mga ipinukol sa akin ng mga akusasyon. To cast doubt on these decisions is not only an insult to me personally, but a dangerous affront to the judiciary. Hinding-hindi ko pahihintulutan na ang kasalukuyang issue ay gamitin upang idikit muli sa akin ang mga maling paratang at sadyang impluwensyahan ang opinyon ng publiko.
Sino ba pinatatamaan niya? Sino ba pinatatamaan mo? Di ba? It's very obvious that I was being alluded to. Remember, Mr. Senator Pangilinan, that I was acquitted by the court. Are you questioning the decision of the court acquitting this representation? You're a lawyer. I'm not. You shouldn't be talking that way. You are undermining the judicial process in our country. You being a member of the bar.
Pero dahil nga nakulong siya, even though he is acquitted kay Duterte, meron pa ring prejudgment kay Jinggoy as the bad one. And you know what? Deservedly so. Pero I'm not saying na, he is actually guilty of that. Pero it is deservedly so na merong prejudgment na masama kay Jinggoy as the bad one. Because, ano-ano ba? At napakarami ng mga kontrobersyal laban sa kanya. Na unti-unti nang naglalabasan ng baho. Many of the district engineers, secretary, contractors, and even aides are vying for state witness badge. Kasi nga again, gusto na nilang maglaglagan. Kasi ayaw nilang makulong at maiwan as scapegoat ng mga mayayaman. Ganyan ang nangyari sa secretary or staff ni Revilla. Now ngayon nga, nagkakagirian si Senate President Paul Tempore and Blue Ribbon Committee Chairperson Ping Lacson at Senador and former Chairperson ng Blue Ribbon Committee na si Senador Rodante Marcoleta tungkol sa parang pagpilit ni Marcoleta na gawing state witness ang mga diskaya. Kasi ang sinasabi niya, hindi naman kailangang ibalik yung mga ill-gotten wealth. Kailangan lang, maging fully cooperable sila sa ating mga ahensya ng gobyerno.
Why did you choose, for example, Bryce? Over to this guy.
My opinion. You cannot question my opinion. Outside of this hall, you cannot question my opinion. You also expression.
I am questioning your opinion because you are the chairman of this committee, Mr. Chair.
Why are you
And
so
you should not
protective of
judge.
this guy? Why are you so protective?
I am not protecting them. Mabuti sinabi mo yan, Mr. Chair. Pwede ba nating i-record ito? Palagi niyong sinasabi, I am protective of the Discayan. When I was chairman of this committee, sinabi ko na sa inyo, the only remedy provided under the law is for them to apply if they qualify under the process of witness protection program. That's all what I did.
Which now, we know that, Secretary Remulla is not affable to that arrangement na hindi sila kailangang pagbayarin or i-return yung kanilang ill-gotten wealth na matapos ang daang libong lumhok sa kilos protesta at marcha kontra korupsyon. Naglabas na ng freeze order para hindi magamit ang mga assets ng mga kontratista, opisyal ng gobyerno at politikos, totaling to around 500 million pesos. Pero akala nyo yun lang? Si Jinggoy at Villanueva lang ang madadawit? Diyan ka nagkakamali. Dahil ayon kay former DPWH USAC Robert Bernardo, implicating dating Senate President Chis Escudero, allegedly receiving 160 million pesos.
Maynard Ngu and I are close friends, and we go years back. He is also a close friend and campaign contributor of Senator Chis Escudero. Maynard Ngu asked me to submit a list of projects. I personally submitted a list of projects to Maynard Ngu, and some of the items therein pertaining to Valenzuela and Marinduque projects were subsequently included in the General Appropriations Act. A copy of the list of Valenzuela and Marinduque projects is here to attach to this affidavit as Annex A. When I gave him the list and in relation to the commitment, I asked him, "Boss, paano to?" Maynard replied, "Bahala ka na." I asked, "Boss, okay na ba ang 20%? Maynard said, "Okay." After inclusion of the projects in Dagaa, sometime in 2023, Maynard Ngu told me to go to court and meet Senator Chis Escudero, which I did. I met with the latter in a private room in the said establishment. While we were drinking wine, he told me, "Alam ko naman ang galawan nyo dyan sa DPWH. Okay naman ako. Sabihin mo kay Sec magbaba sa akin." Also, the delivery of the 160 million for Senator Chis referred to in paragraph 17 of my affidavit happened sometime in the first quarter of 2025. Around July 2025, I had a chance encounter with Senator Chis and Maynard Ngu at the court. Senator Chis Escudero approached me, shook my hand, and said to me, "Thank you."
Samantalang sina former Senators Bong Revilla and now Makati Mayor Nancy Binay allegedly received 125 million pesos at 37 million pesos sa kickback respectively.
Senator Revilla asked for a commitment, which I suggested. Then he approved at 25% of the total amount of the projects indicated in the list, the 25% commitment to Engineer Alcantara, and told him that Senator Revilla will appreciate additional contributions for his senatorial re-election bid, and then delivered to Senator Revilla in his house in Cavite. Sometime in the year 2024, Carlin Villa, a staff of trusted confidant of Senator Binay, called me and asked for a commitment which was set at 15% of the total amount of the projects indicated in the list. Alcantara collected 15% commitment, or about 37 million, which was turned over to me, and which I then delivered to Senator Binay at a house in Quezon City.
Now nadawit din yung Executive Secretary ni Marcos na si Lucas Bersamin, pinabulaanan ni Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin na nagpoporsyento siya ng 15% ng 2.85 billion pesos na proyekto na isinabmit ni former Bulacan District Engineer Henry Alcantara na ibinigay daw kay Yusek Olaivar.
Yusek Olaivar personally called me for a meeting to discuss about unprogrammed appropriations supposedly for the office of the Executive Secretary. In the said meeting, he requested me to submit a list of projects. After the meeting, I asked Bulacan First DEO to prepare a list of projects for funding. Thereafter, Engineer Alcantara submitted a list of projects worth 2.85 billion.
Ang sagot ni Executive Secretary Lucas Barsamin, wala namang papel ang Office of the Executive Secretary sa budget ng DPWH. So, how can he be implicated in this scheme? At dating Speaker Martin Romualdez na meron daw kickback sa mga proyekto sa DPWH as the former security AD Zaldico na dinala ni Rodante Marcoleta ay nagsasabing nag-deliver siya ng potentially around 1.6 billion pesos sa bahay ni Romualdez over a few months. Although it is notable to point out na yung nag-notarize dun sa sworn affidavit nung dating security AD Zaldico, gustong i-retract yung kanyang notary.
Tagabuhat lang ako ng malita ng basura. Ang ibig sabihin ng basura ay malita na may lamang pera. Ang bawat malita ay may lamang humigit kumulang 48 million pesos. Kalimitang dinadala sa bahay ni Congressman Zaldico sa Valle Verde 6 at tinatanggap naman ni Mark at ni Paul. Ang isang ehemplo na nagdala ng pera ay si Congressman Eric Yap ng AXIS Party List. 46 na malita ang dala niya sa bahay ni Congressman Zaldico sa Valle Verde 6. Ibababa lamang namin ay 35 malita para i-deliver sa bahay ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez sa 42. Humigit kumulang 3 beses ako mismo ang nag-deliver ng basura sa bahay ni Congressman Zaldico, sa Horizon Resident at sa mga bahay ni Speaker Romualdez sa 42 Mackenzie Street, Taguig.
Paulit-ulit nang tayong naluloko. From Janet Napoles to the Discayas, from Jinggoy at Revilla to, Jinggoy at Revilla. Hindi na ba tayo nadadala? Bakit ba natin sila binoboto muli? At bakit ba sila napalabas nung nakulong sila? Bakit na-acquit? Samantalang yung underlings nila ang nalulugi. Now this is an opinion only. Napoprotektahan ng ating mga master, mga nasa tuktok ng tatsulok. Samantalang yung pinapagawa nila ng mga maduduming gawain in their behalf, lagapag kapag naglaglagan. Pero tayo rin ang nagpe-perpetuate ng mga ito. Utang na loob kasi nakakuha sa mga assistance nila. Samantalang doble ang presyo sa procurement form, kaya kalahati ang kita nila. Talagang this has been a long time coming. Hindi na tayo natuto. Paulit-ulit natin silang nilalagay sa pwesto kasi in-endorse sila ng gusto nating tao. Na pinalaya sila ng gusto nating tao. Pero ito tatandaan natin na mayaman ang Pilipinas. Nangyari nga lang na ang yaman ng Pilipinas napupunta sa iilan, hindi sa pangkalahatan. And maybe we deserve at the very least some of the blame. At yan pagtapos ng News and Worthy Recap Weekly Edition for roughly the 4th week of September 2025. Mag-suggest sa more topics and or corrections to the balitas if you feel understood in any way. Salamat sa panonood mga pang-formulize to survive Philabedic sa socials and of all Joseph to link down below. So susunod muli of course. Paalam. Malawak ang protest sa EDSA, Mendiola at Luneta. Do you hear the people singing the songs of angry men? It is the music of the people who will not be slaves again. Ayan ang sigaw ng ating mga kababayan noong September 21 sa hashtag Bahasa Luneta at hashtag Trillion Peso March. September 21 coincides with the 53rd anniversary ng pagdeklara ni Diktador Marcos Sr. ng martial law sa Pilipinas, which cemented his reign for more than 2 decades continuously. Pero bakit ba parang mas lalong dumami ang nagprotesta? Bakit dalawa? If you think about it, bakit tatlo yung main protesta? Well, 3 words: flood, control, corruption. Pero this won't be a long episode, or at least I think so. Pwede nyo naman panoorin yung mga past videos ko for more details. What we'll marvel at is the participation ng mga kabataan fed up to the self-perpetuating SOP o gawi sa gobyerno at ng mga botante. Before we disagree on ideological differences kung paano patakbuhin ng Pilipinas, we first have to make corruption shameful and not a fact of life. Ang sinasabi ng mga botante ngayon, or at least the past few elections, lahat naman ganyan. Let's pick the lesser of 2 evils. Well, if the evil is literally corruption, then I think we cannot allow that. Or at the very least, make it a demerit laban sa kandidato. Now, ayon sa iba't ibang sources, umabot ng nasa 50 to 80,000 na umattend sa Luneta only about an hour since the protest rally began, mostly comprised of mga kabataan like Gen Z at millennials. Sila yung mga kakampings, if I'm being honest, sila yung mga hindi nakaboto noong 2022 elections. Or at the very least, katulad ko, hindi naman ako nakaboto noong 2022 elections, but nakaboto noong 2025, which showed the surge of Bam Aquino, Kiko Pangilinan, and other prominent political progressives sa ating eleksyon. Siguro dadagdagan natin ng +1 yan. Kasi sabi ni Marcos Jr., kung hindi raw siya presidente, malamang lalahok siya sa mga protesta. Idagdag mo pa yung security detail niya. Baka umabot yan ng 100,000.
You have to remember, I brought this up. And since this has all been exposed, do you blame them for going out into the streets? If I wasn't president, I might be out in the streets with them. Of course, they are enraged. Of course, they are angry. I'm angry. We should all be angry.
Pero the reason he said that, and that came about dahil sa walang tigil na walkouts at protesta ng mga estudyante sa mga universidad, mga religious groups ng simbahang Katolika at ng mga sibilyang grupo, especially in social media. Talagang galit na galit ang tao sa mga anomalya sa flood control projects. Tatsulok at even the winner takes it all at saka yung basta lahat ng edits na makikita mo, talagang ipopost nila yan. Ipopost ng mga netizens yan. Ang pinaglalaban ng masang Pilipino, simple lang. Mapanagot ang mga korap, mga kasosyo nito at mga enabler na paulit-ulit na sistema ng katiwalian, kagarapalan at kasinungalingan ng ating bayan. Sure, nasa thousands or even just about 100,000 ang dumalo sa mga rally at protesta na ito, pero there are millions of people overseas and in the Philippines that support these type of action, which is actually funny kasi nga galit ang tao sa mga nagrarally, galit ang tao sa mga nagpo-protesta kasi sinasabi nila ngawa lang ng ngawa. Ngayon naiisip na nila na the reason why people even before has been kind of pushing and kind of rallying almost every week of every month of every presidency ay dahil may mali sila nakikita. At ngayon at the very least nagiging mas affable sila or at least amiable sa idea ng politika, notwithstanding the fact na naging popular ang ideya ng pagrally at protesta and even violent protest with Indonesia and Nepal leading the charge. Pero ang pinaglalaban ng masang Pilipino, simple lang. Mapanagot ang mga korap, mga kasosyo nito at mga enabler ng paulit-ulit na sistema ng katiwalian, kagarapalan, kasinungalingan sa ating bayan.
Patawad kay Father pero putang ina ninyo!
Sa EDSA naman, lumahok ang mga church leaders including CBCP President at Cardinal ng Caloocan, Cardinal Ambo David, one of the fiercest against the corruption at even Duterte's war on drugs, especially in his city or archdiocese. Nagsama-sama ang multilateral na sektor at grupo with mostly iba't ibang ideolohiya sa malawakang hiwa-hiwalay na protesta sa buong bansa. Unilateral sa iisang panawagan kontra korupsyon. For Marcos Kaman, for Duterte, na parang gusto magkaroon ng kudeta para ilagay si VP Sara para maging presidente. Yun nga rin ang sinasabi nila na, mag-ingat kayo lalo na at merong mga destabilizing forces na gustong palitan si Marcos at gagamitin nila ang rally nyo para ma-push for change. Lalo na yung mga nasa krami. Or even, for neither. Talagang gusto mo lang tumutesta laban sa korupsyon. Now, you might say, bakit walang thrill? Are Gen Zs in the Philippines too much of a pussy na hindi nila kayang magkaroon ng welga ng talagang sunugan? Well, first off, nagkasagutan ng mga pro-Duterte at EDSA marchers. Pero meron pa, may nagsunog rin ng truck na ginamit para harangan yung mga protesta or yung mga gusto talagang pumunta ng Malacanang sa Ayala Bridge para tigilan ang mga demonstrador na hindi pupunta sa EDSA o Mendiola, kundi diretso sa Malacanang. Naging magulo rin ang nangyari sa Recto Manila where one establishment was even trashed by conflicting narratives. Yung iba sinasabi, kinuyog ng tao yung mga nasa loob na pulis kasi nga namaril. Yung iba naman ang sinasabi, nagnakaw yung mga bata. Meron din daw nagpaputok ng baril nung nagkaguluhan sa Recto matapos ang protesta sa Mendiola, which in and of itself saw protesters breaching the barriers na nilagay ng pulisya. Mahigit 200 katao, mostly estudyante at kabataan rin ang nadetain ng Manila Police District dahil sa kaguluhang nangyari. Pero bago natin sabihin na mga geng-geng lang naman yan, mga squammy behavior na hindi nila alam ang ginagawa nila at hindi sila parte ng mga nagpoprotesta, let's not throw them under the burning truck. Kasi sure, many of them could have done a better job at protesting dahil ayaw natin ng malakihang crackdown kung lumala pa lalo yung gulo. Kasi kapag nangyari na sasabihin I will declare imminent disaster, something like that, which, Marcos has signed. Para lang gawing dahilan ang mga kaguluhan sa protest, pero iyon ang kanilang nadarama. It's not ideal for them to express themselves using violence and freaking anarchy. Pero just like how there's heat of passion in crime, siguro we can let this pass. Let's not focus on these rioters. Kasi ganyan naman talaga sila. And, ang magiging problema lang naman is if may agitators at, may nagbabayad sa kanila o premeditated ang gulo-gulo or talagang gusto lang talaga nilang mga panggulo. Which, it will be in their conscience. It seems not to be the case na yung mga nagsasabing may bayad or nagbayad sa kanila, maybe siguro meron doon iilan, pero that seems to not be the case for the Recto and Mendiola riots. Kasi ganoon naman talaga ang Batang Maynila, lalo na sa Recto. Geng-geng. But it doesn't undermine yung galit na nararamdaman nila laban sa mga kura. Sa totoo lang, actually pumunta ako ng Mendiola. No, I'm not really Mendiola if I'm being honest. Nakaabot lang ako malapit sa Central Station. Tapos nung papunta na sila ng Recto, papunta na sila ng Quiapo Recto, may pupuntahan kasi ako so hindi na ako dumiretso. Now, don't act holier than thou when there's bigger fish to fry. Sa mga pulisya, especially to those who practice maximum tolerance, salamat. You're only doing your jobs. Pero sana, kung sinasabi nyo na, huwag nyo sana kami saktan kasi, kasama nyo kami sa pakikibaka. Well, you should have called in sick and joined the rallyists. Kasi nga, there is a conflict between two classes. Ang mga mahirap at ang mga mayayaman. At ang pumapagitna sa kanila, yung pulisya. And as we all know, and what they say, neutrality only benefits the offender. Yung corrupt. Yung talagang may kapangyarihan. In a conflict between lower and upper class, the neutral people only helps the people from the top.